as enshrined in the Constitution. You can see all that. And B2.2, it is stated in the Constitution to promote, IIUM is to promote the concept of Islamization of what? Of human knowledge. Not knowledge, human knowledge. The problem is with the human beings, not with knowledge as such. And so we underline human knowledge. And then we go to the why again. These are the extraneous factors. We have the internal factors coming from the Quran, the imperatives of the Quran. All right, those are the internal factors. Then we have the external factors. That is to say, the economic system in the world today, the political system of the world today, international relations, and all kinds of crises. And many scholars of the West have come up with their critical views about this contemporary civilization, which has brought about all kinds of crises in the world today. And I've mentioned only some of them under B4.1. And I move on to B4.3. Another extraneous reason, another external factor is the moral failure of secular modernity. Look at how progressive is the world today, when many nations are beginning to recognize and legalize same-sex marriages. And for them, it is another step of civilization. For us, it is going back to animality and barbarity, jahiliyyah. But for them, it is a sign of human freedom. This is just one example. There are hundreds of examples of this moral failure of secular modernity. And look at the music. Look at the films. Look at what's in the social media. Look at what's in the internet. Look at the pornography, which is prevalent, available to the smallest kids by just pressing the button. Now we come to the how. كيف, ماذا, لماذا, and كيف. All right? So how to, there are many ways. If you look at the natural sciences, and you are from the natural sciences, we have to look at first the philosophical presuppositions, the metaphysical presuppositions of physics, the metaphysical presuppositions of even mathematics, the metaphysical presuppositions of biology. There is such a thing, brothers and sisters, called the philosophy of biology, the philosophy of chemistry, and the philosophy of physics, the philosophy of mathematics. It is in that area where you find the challenge. But in the factual content, in the technological content, in the technical content, in pure technical matters, we don't have any problem. All right? But in the social sciences, not only the philosophical foundations are highly problematic, even the contents are problematic, and what more, the fruits are problematic. The whole tree is rotten. But with the hard sciences, the fruits tend to be good, the trunk look okay, but the roots are not okay. All right, so we have to address the roots in the sciences. So you have to, I hope, if you haven't already, you have to teach history and philosophy of science. Teaching the history of science will expose to the students how a great civilization held the world at sway for 800 years at least, how the works of Muslim doctors and Muslim scientists in Arabic became the textbooks of several European universities. And you all know how Al-Qanun of Ibn Sina was used in European universities for at least 400 years. And you also know, and you should know, that the Renaissance was made possible because of the catalytic effect of the discoveries by Muslim scientists in Spain, in Baghdad, in Sicily, in North Africa. And so history of science then will correct the false history being taught by the West. All the big theories are attributed to the Europeans, whereas we know that many Muslim scientists had preceded many of these European scientists for centuries. Copernicus took a lot of his ideas from Al-Battani in astronomy. And Copernicus perhaps knew Arabic, or at least he used the works of Al-Battani, Al-Tusi, and many others were using Arabic works. And if you do not know the history of science, then you think what you have today are all the products of modern Europe. Again, another injustice to Islam and to the Muslims. Another zulm, kabir, to the Muslims. Philosophy of science needs to be taught, because here is the time, here is the avenue for you to correct the philosophical basis of naturalism. It is not nature that brought all these into being. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is something you must reinstate when you teach science. Okay, good. Alhamdulillah. Now you send a lady so that it will soften my heart. Okay, my dear doctor, I will obey you. It's okay. Yes, 5 minutes will be fine. So, and you know, there are many things when it comes to metaphysical assumptions about science. The fact that Allah says this whole universe contains innumerable, countless signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't see that in your textbooks at all. I would like to be told, yes, we have a textbook which says that all that is in the universe are signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Please tell me after this if you have come across that textbook that you have learned either in your school or here. Maybe in medicine, if you have been using Prof. Omar Kasole's books, you would find it. But I'm not sure the other disciplines would have that kind of statement that the universe did not come out by accident of nature. The universe was planned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, designed by Him, produced by Him. But yes, over time, over 6 aeons, long periods of time, Allah allowed the universe to evolve. But He is the evolving power, energy, will behind all that, not nature. The blind nature cannot come up with this beautiful design, with this perfect harmony that made Einstein overawed, to the point that said that if, you know, for this great design indicates the mind of behind this universe. He did not, of course, refer to God, but refers to some mind, because they're still shy to admit that there is a God. Okay, in education, how we can see, and IIUM has played its role in education. In law, many of our students are practicing in Malaysia. Economics, many of our students are in the Bank Negara, and they're bringing in the Islamic perspectives in Islamic economy, Islamic banking. Islamic finance, blah, blah, blah. In literature, we have also people doing that, political thought, and so on. And then I mentioned the how, weeding out, reform, prioritize, develop the ulul albab, and then holistic quality, and so on and so forth. So, is it time? 2 more minutes? Okay, 2 more minutes, all right. Then I mentioned, after this, a variety of intellectual efforts which can be undertaken as part of the, here I mentioned the word Islamization of human knowledge agenda at IIUM. So I mentioned the method of integration. I mentioned number 2, serious critique or critical assessment. I mentioned reform or Islah, tajdeed, revival or relevantization. That is for revealed knowledge. That's number 3. Number 4, I mentioned you can do comparative analysis studies from the secular perspective and the Islamic perspective. That's what we do also in economics, law, and business. You can also affirm and acknowledge, and you can also, number 6, with your Islamization, invite people to that which is good, and join. Number 7, in joining. Number 8, you can also refute, you can also reject, you can also prohibit, discourage, object, counter, repel, deconstruct, all that which is munkar, all that which is wrong, all that which is dalal, all that which is bad, all that which is against aqidah, sharia and akhlaq of Islam. But you have to look for it. Maybe in the hard sciences, you may not find in the technical contents. But I said, you'll find it in the metaphysical foundations. And then you need to defend the position of Islam. You need to protect and support Islamic perspectives. And number 10, you can also do some reorientation of certain aspects. And then number 11, you can also synthesize the positive aspects of the conventional with Islamic. Then you can also improve where improvement is needed on the basis of Islamic ideas. And number 13, you can reconstruct the conventional systems on the basis of Islamic worldviews. And finally, which is most challenging, which is most difficult, is to come up with a new construction, new disciplines, based entirely on the Islamic worldview. There are many disciplines you can, for instance, if you do environmental science or environmental engineering, you could have that as a discipline here, constructed from the roots all the way up to the fruits, based on Tawheed. Finally, new inventions. And thank you, sister, my dear daughter, and we're coming to the end. Time is up. Sorry, Prof, can you please take a seat? Inshallah, and continue the Q&A. So I'm finishing the last part, the conclusion. Conclusion is Islamization or Islamicization is the soul of is the ruh of IIUM. It is the ruh that matters most. Not the beauty of the buildings. Of course, we need to have beautiful buildings, even without air condition. It is the soul that matters most. Because of it, IIUM becomes truly unique and religious. Let us all rededicate ourselves to enriching and sustaining the soul, which defines our niche in this world of highly competitive higher education, and in this era of uncertainty, in this era of turmoil and turbulence. So may Allah guide us all to undertake this sacred mission of Islamization of knowledge, so that we can in one day come about with the civilization that would replace this corrupt, God-defiant, and ignorant as well as arrogant civilization. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. والسلام عليكم.